Pike's pushed more and far up ahead. He's got out of line. It's now Pike going to have a go at Werrell. Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's come back into play. Exactly. Miller's just like trouble. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Moving on to the back end of Phil Jocelyn. So there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's a lot have fun. Yeah.
It's all about the entertainment, so I hope
everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is enjoying himself watching. The Burger King machine's off into the grass a little bit there as they're really bunching up now.
Hello everybody and welcome to the Radical SR8 Championship. We are closing in on those final moments of the season, and at the very front of the championship, James Barry, John McCutcheon and some others as well may have a chance of becoming the champion here in the first ever season of the JPB Radical SR8 Championship. This time round, to take you through the final 2 weeks of the season, at the final 3 races, it's myself, Ian Leary and James Parfitt with you until the end of the season. Knockhill is a very interesting place to bring our championship with our current situation. James Barry is leading by just 28 points, but when you consider that there are a theoretical 74 points available just tonight, you start to realise this is quite a close championship. Ewan Bramer is in 3rd place, ahead of Jamie Bird and George Gonzaga. Mike Booson is the only other driver with more than 300 points. Luke Maxwell is 7th, just 7 points ahead of Dave Royston, with Menno de Graaf and Paul Crabb rounding out the top 10. Robert Williams is next, ahead of Eric Harmon. Just behind him, it's Stefan Mellis in 13th place. Carl Jackalette and Graham Mappy round out the top 15, and then we get down towards the bottom. Just Reed has also been at most of the rounds so far, but Paul Tempera and Gillian Rees have not been at many of the rounds so far. They are 17th and 18th, ahead of Wayne Palmer in 19th, who's only been at one of the rounds so far this season. Good to be alongside you again, James, for this round of the championship, and indeed the final 2. Just 3 rounds to go before our championship finale, or 3 races to go, I should say, before the season ends as a whole. And just 28 points between James Barry and John McCutcheon is a very close championship indeed.
At the end of the day, there's still points there. You know, the bonus points are important. As you say, pole position, you get a point. Fastest lap, you get a point in this race, you get a point in the next race. It's still all up for grabs, and I think a lot of these guys are still could be in this. Ewan Bramer especially as well has had his moments up and down this season, but I think he's going to be there as well. No more drop weeks. Every point on the board will stand from now, so they've got to make sure they get as much as possible here as well. New season has been sorted out. We have got the calendar ready to go. We will announce it next week at Nords, of course, there as well. So going to be very, very interesting, but I'm looking forward to this. I think it should be a good one.
Absolutely, and I'll send my compliments to you for making sure that the last 2 weeks can't be dropped as a round, because I do like the drop rounds rule. It helps keep people in the championship, especially for those who can't be here every week. However, it's a nightmare in the last round. And you know that as well. So thank you for not allowing it.
Dude, it was never going to happen. They had 2 all season, and from now 9 and 10, that was it. There was never going to be any more, because I hate them. I wouldn't have them in the season, full stop. They drive me absolutely insane. But apparently, so I've been told, I have to take note of IRL and people going away on holiday. Yeah. Me personally, I wouldn't have them. They drive me nuts. And me and you, when it comes to scoring. We've been involved with the Radical Race Series. doing 3 drop weeks over the season, and it's just like, oh, we can't cope with this. So no, last 2 races, definitely not. That was it. That is it. Now they've had their 2. They've got to be here for the last 2. Now, of course, we've got to talk about him because obviously this is this man's home circuit, right? He's driven Knockhill previously as well. We had a massive hand in helping out with the calendar. He's got a massive hand in helping out with next season's calendar as well. I think, to be honest, I would have been crazy not to take John's advice when it comes to tracks, because me personally, I would have stuck him at like silly tracks. So he's been helping me massively with tracks as well. So we've got to shout him out. He's been a absolute godsend this season and helping out on that one. But of course, he's sitting second in the championship, but this is his lead. This is his home circuit. Now, don't forget, when putting Knockhill on, I don't really feel John thought about it. He didn't think about the fact that over the 45-minute race, they're going to be doing 60 odd plus laps, I think it is. I think it's like 61 or something ridiculous. I saw a count earlier on take shape from Eric Harmon, I believe it was, who worked it out. It was about 62 laps, 61, 62 laps. So although this is John's home circuit and he was well involved with it, I don't really think he thought about it for the 45 minutes because they're going to be dizzy.
They are going to be a bit dizzy, yeah. So around this circuit, you can get 4 laps in every 3 minutes. 45 divided by 3 is 15, times by whatever I just said, 4 is about 60 laps. But considering everything that will go on in the race, probably I'm going to bet that they're not quite going to get to 60, but maybe they will. We'll wait and find out, because it is the reverse grid race, of course. One question from me, by the way, about next week as we think about the championship, as James Barry goes to the top of this qualifying session. Which points are going to be allocated? Because it's just one race next week. Is there going to be a different point allocation for that singular race?
Now, we did talk about this. Now, we did think about combining the points together, so they would basically get the same amount of points for the sprint and race as next week. That's probably going to be the easiest thing for us to do. Now, I could bring in a completely different system and say they're going to get 60 points for the win and then whatever. But I think, to be honest, we're going to combine both score systems together, so they will end up taking the points for that one. So next week's win, of course, will involve the 40 from the feature race here and the 30 from the sprint. So there'll be 70 points up for grabs. Second place will get 60 and vice versa all the way down. So we're probably just going to add them together. It's a little bit easier.
I think that does make sense. The reason I ask is because I'm starting to wonder, how close do you need to be to James Barry to keep it realistically in contention? Now, I'd say that realistically you need to be within the gap of 1st to 10th place points, just to keep it sort of realistic. And I know that probably more than 10 people will be here next week, and theoretically you'd be in touch even if the points gap was bigger. However, I think to be realistic, you'd need to be within 10th place points. Now, for 10th place, if you apply that system you were just talking about, you'd get 44 points. For the win, it'd be 70, plus the fastest lap and pole could be 72. So realistically, you'd need to be within about 30 points. At the moment, John McCutcheon is 20. He's 28 points behind. Ewan Bramer is 54 behind. He's theoretically in contention, mathematically coming into today, although just needs to get a bit closer. 67 behind is Jamie Bird. And Gonzaga is 86 behind as things stand. So all of these drivers theoretically involved. So Mike Bousson actually at 90 behind. Even Luke Maxwell at 108 theoretically in contention, but obviously difficult for him. So that's the kind of margin we're talking about. Get it below 30 points and you've got a chance in 1 week's time at the Nordschleife. One thing notable, though, about this qualifying session, just 6.5 minutes in, John McCutcheon is only in 6th place. You mentioned it's his home track. He is getting beaten by 5 drivers at the moment.
Yeah, he is. 44.072. A lot of improvements across the board. He is improving for the next lap here as well. The thing is, though, Knockhill was one of them tracks that's very difficult. This section where we're at the moment, overtaking is near on impossible. Duffer's dipped down into McIntyre. You're not going to run too wide here as well through 4 and 5 because you're just going to kill yourself. You can get the overtakes done now. This is where that we expect some of them to go through. here, and this run up into the last corner, and then from Taylor's the last corner down to Duffer's Dip again, you'll get an overtake. So you've got half the track to get your overtakes done, half your track to follow, because let's be real about it, if you don't follow, you're going to be in trouble at any point. The interesting thing about this as well, the chicane, believe it or not, after doing some quick configurations, it is in exactly the same place if you go on the reverse circuit. So it's down in turn 4 and 5 on the normal. It's turn 4 and 5 on the reverse as well.
That's a bizarre bit of symmetry, but I suppose it's got to happen at some point in the circuit, based on maths. John McCutcheon does now go to the top. So just as we were talking about the fact it was surprising he wasn't leading the session, he goes and leads it now. But it's only by a few thousandths of a second. Still 7 minutes to go here in this qualifying session, and McCutcheon is very, very narrowly on top as things stand. He's going purple again here in the first sector, not so strong through the middle. I'm not so sure he didn't get an off track actually on that trip through the gravel. Oh no, he did have his lap count.
Braymer's done it.
Clark as James Barry goes over the line. Does he improve any much? Yes, he does, but he still stays fourth.
Yeah, Braymer did him as well. Braymer got there 43.711, 43.712 for Harmon, so a great job from him. And McCutcheon 43.732. So we're talking 600ths, 6 tenths. We're not. It's actually, what is it? It's not even 600ths. It's like 200ths of a second between them. It's less than a blink in an eye. So although we're sitting here thinking, it's not a lot of time. Let's be real about it whatsoever.
No, really not a lot of time. Braymer again going quicker here. Oh, this is strong in the last sector. Goodness me, that's a big gap round here. Just over a tenth of a second. James Barry going quickly here as well. Over the line. Purple in the first sector. Does he get anywhere closer? No. His last 2 sectors were not good enough. Harmon gets a bit closer to Braymer, but he's nowhere near pole by this circuit standards. That's an extraordinary lap from Braymer, who throws it off the circuit. Meanwhile, just under 10 minutes in, he's got 5 minutes now to hold on.
The question is can he hold on? That's going to be the thing for the man from Simray Sweetenham. Coming in to the final corner. I think this could be an absolute banger. I've got a funny feeling this is going to be one of these tracks that is going to be absolutely amazing. I do also feel as well, I know John McCutcheon hasn't done it, but I might sneak Snakuba in there next season just to see how they get on, because I do love that. Oh, and if you're around this Thursday, actually, there is a broadcast I'm doing Thursday morning with GR86s at Tsukuba. So that's going to be an absolute banger, considering they normally end up with about 45 different cars, 45 cars on a racetrack. Not sure how Carl Jacqueline ended up there, to be blatantly honest. I'm just going to do some investigating. I think this is probably one of them. The bit over the chicane, got loose, snapped back the other way, and bang.
Ouch. That is not light contact with the wall. And that's something to avoid during the race. Of course, the 10-minute race is going to be more of a splash and dash, if you, well, not literally, but you get what I mean. And in the second race, it'll be probably a bit more longer and a bit more considered, really. But the top 10 reverse grid will be very interesting indeed. I mean, Dave Rollston's a second slower than Ewan Braymer at the moment. Rollston's 10th. And so if this grid was to take forward into a reverse grid, then he will be on pole and clearly slower than Braymer. But how would the others work their way forward? That is the key. Braymer, of course, as I mentioned, needs these points to try and close in on James Barry, who at the moment is 54 points ahead of him. With this pole position, Braymer could get to 53, as he really needs to gain some of those points. Today, as in the background, Harmon goes off the road.
Yeah, poor old Eric Harmon there, off the side of the circuit. So not good for him. Where did you go? Oh, there he is. Runs a little bit wide and gets it a little bit wrong. But Barry, however, has gone quicker again, moves himself up into second place. So Barry searching for tenths and thousandths here, and I've got a funny feeling he's putting himself in a very strong position. However, he's going to have some very tough opponents in and around him, so this could be very, very spicy indeed.
It certainly could. Just over 3 minutes to go. Will Braymer re-emerge here, or has he decided that his work is done in this session? Not seeing any purple sectors coming through for the moment. Only Stefan Millis is improving on a personal best on any of the sectors as things stand. He's currently 11th, is Millis, but he had to back off to let John McCutcheon through, I think, and so can't really improve. The thing around this circuit, though, with qualifying is that a 15-minute session actually is ages. You can really get up to your peak speed at this circuit with this amount of time, and so people are starting to struggle to improve, although George Gonzaga makes his way up towards the line. That is not an improvement, I don't think, from him. It's close, very close indeed. Just 2 thousandths slower than his previous best. But some drivers like Bremer, Jacqueline and Matthew are starting to wonder if they can improve at all now.
Yeah, I think you're getting to the point of where you've put some wear into the tyres. Don't forget, this track is very difficult with tyre wear. You know, they are going to have to be aware of the situation. James Barry's got a purple in Sector 2. Is he going to go over the line and go quicker? No, doesn't look like it. Everybody else is kind of plateauing out on that one.
They really are. Can't remember the last time we saw a personal best improvement now. It's been a long time since Bremer set that time as well, that 43.5, which I don't think is going to be beaten now in these final 2 minutes. I think he's done enough, as off the road there goes Stefan Mellis, just to get out the way of everybody. John McCutcheon sets a personal best through the first sector here. Second sector is not as strong as he's been in the past, but will this be a personal improvement to maybe push himself closer towards Harmon, who's in third at the moment? It needs to be pretty big to get onto the front row, and it's not, I'm afraid, for McCutcheon. He stays in fourth.
Yeah, no improvement for the Scotsman there. And then we've got Bird, Barry and Harmon all not improving. Stefan Mellis, of course, not improving at all. Unfortunately for him, Mike Bousson, no improvements. Paul Crabb, Gonzaga, no improvements. So I think they're coming to the end of their best tyre life here. Mind you, most of these guys have done, 17 laps James Barry's done. 12 laps for Ewan Bremer and 17 for Jamie Bird, so they've definitely gone and had a good old go here.
They absolutely have, yeah. And
McCutcheon
goes over the line. It is a personal improvement, so there is time left here, but he couldn't improve on his position. Barry also finding some time in the first sector. This is close. No, 43.7 from him. Harmon also improving. That's going to be the end of his session. He can't improve. He gives up, and he will be starting at the second row at best.
Yeah, Paul Crabb coming over the line as well, the Irishman. In that Jaguar livery machine, 43.991. It's yellows across the board for everybody really behind that. It is going to be a hard reset at the end of this, of course, for qualifying. So, unfortunately, they will be just cut straight off in about 10 seconds as McCutcheon improves in the final. Oh, he goes second! Same time! Wow. Same time, 43.589. Wow.
Goodness me. Well, it must be the tens of thousands that gets him ahead of Barry, because he set his time afterwards, of course. So there must be an additional number that iRacing are looking at that is putting him ahead. Meanwhile, we have a look at the grid. Ewan Bremer takes the pole position ahead of John McCutcheon, with James Barry and Eric Harmon on row 2. Mike Bousson rounds out the top 5 with George Gonzaga 6th. Paul Crabb is next, ahead of Jamie Bird, Dave Ronston and Carl Jacqueline round out the top 10. Stefan Mellison and Graham Matthew round out those who'll be taking the start here, but that maybe gives the momentum to John McCutcheon before this race.
Yep, I think bringing it in the final lap of the race there, or final lap of qualifying, I think could be very, very interesting indeed how this works. Who's going to get away first? That is, if there's ever a pole position launch or a launch off the line that's more important than this, I don't know where it is, because this track, you've got to get out. If you get out in front and get through Duffers Dip for the first time, you will lead this all the way up to Clark. You might even get the whole full lap in the lead as well. So yeah, for Bremer, he's got to nail this. This has got to be the start of his life. Because if he gets this wrong, the boy there, Mr. Scotsman John McCutcheon himself, will be alongside him very, very quickly. So, yeah, this could be exciting.
Yeah, I think if McCutcheon especially gets ahead, I mean, that probably applies to what you were just saying to anyone, but especially McCutcheon, who is right alongside him there. And he will see this as a big, big opportunity, will the Scotsman, on home turf, of course, in familiar surroundings. Can he launch off the line and get ahead of the Dutchman here as we get racing in race 1 at Knockhill? 3 races to go in the JPB SR8 Championship, and it is a good start from John McCutcheon, just when he needed it. Round the outside he goes in towards turn 1. He gives the room to Bremer. He goes off into the AstroTurf, and there's contact. Bremer goes off the road now. He loses his front end, and the pole sitter goes from first to last on this opening lap after contact with John McCutcheon.
Yeah, Carl Jacklett, David Rolliston trying too wide through the chicane. I think that was a massive, massive dose of the old internet playing tricks there, because you saw that weird movement of Bramer, and then all of a sudden his nose just went bang up in the air faster than Kim Kardashian's on the plastic surgeon table. It was absolutely crazy for Ewan Bramer. So I've got a funny feeling there was some form of internet issues with that one, but McHutchinson did what he had to do. He's got out in front. Now he's got to do this for the next 9 minutes, because he needs these points. This is it for him. If he's ever going to get there, he needs that fastest lap. He needs that win. Barry's just run wide off the circuit as well, and Paul Crabb at the moment has got Gonzaga tucked in behind it. But if we have a look from this point of view, you see bang, and then all of a sudden the nose comes up. That's just crazy.
I think there's suspension damage here for Bramer as well. It's difficult to tell really what went on there, but look, Bramer's coming out on the circuit. This might well spell the end of his championship charge from here. It was a distant one anyway, but that pole position point will have given him real hope. It's not materialised as... Oh, no! Rolliston gets it wrong, and he's smashed into by Jamie Bird.
I don't think Bird had anywhere to go.
No.
He didn't have anywhere. Coming through the final, he got the inside line, and all of a sudden, Bird's... Rollo's
Didn't
there.
have anywhere to go.
Nope.
Yeah,
and
he's got big suspension damage there, and it'll be pit stops all round there, I think.
yeah, Stefan Mellis also lost... Yes.
Oh, goodness.
He lost his nose, did Mellis, in that incident as well. But that's put Mike Bousson in third. So that's a great job from him, with Eric Harmon tucked in right behind him as well. What are we? 8 minutes in, we've seen a massive implication to Ewan Bramer's championship contendership.
We certainly have. We'll keep an eye on who's going to get the fastest lap point here, by the way. But more importantly, John McCutcheon is going to gain 5 as things stand on James Barry in the championship. That would reduce the margin from 28 to 23 at the end of this race, and maybe 22, depending on if he gets the fastest lap point as well. But as you were talking about, get out in front early and put some time into everybody else. That's what McCutcheon has done. He'll be difficult to catch now.
Yeah, that's it. He had to do that. That was on his top agenda. He had to get away, and he did that really, really well on the roll bar with Eric Harmon in behind Mike Bousson, who finds himself up into third, gained 2 places. Harmon has not moved. Gonzaga have not moved. The only 2 drivers in the grid at this moment in time that have not lost or gained any position. Look at the speed Bousson carries. Man, he throws it in there, and then he hits the curb, unfortunately, which has slowed it down a bit. This is a situation, go bang, bang. That car, I tell you what, if you have not driven this car at this circuit, you should. That chicane, dude, is scary. Absolute scary to go through there.
It's certainly exciting as George Gonzaga gets very close here to Paul Crabb. This is down into the final corner, the exceedingly uphill hairpin. Oh, and he's going to get the cutback. That was Crabb getting it wrong. He muscles him out in the end, but that was a gift almost to Gonzaga that he couldn't quite take.
Yeah, you can see Barry's just set the fastest lap of the race at this moment in time. Look how wide Crabb goes compared to how shallow Gonzaga goes, and look at the speed difference. He carries so much more just by taking load of the pit lane exit. So, yeah, Gonzaga's got to be aware that that's the line. That is the line that you've got to take. You've got to be on that wider line. And there, go all the way to the left-hand side. Jacquelette's been off the side of the circuit, unfortunately, as well. He's perched up there at this moment in time. That is on the entrance into Clark. Oh, he did this in practice.
Yeah, didn't hit the wall this time, though, did he? Don't think so. Just about avoided it, but not ideal. Would have been a scary moment for him, for sure. Ewan Bramer's on the back of Jamie Bird back in the pack, by the way. As we watch this battle in towards turn 1, Harmon's not quite able to get past Bousson. But Bramer, of course, will need to recover here at least to the top 10 so he can benefit from the reverse grid and try and take race 2.
Yeah, he's got to get Bird. He's not going to get Mellis. Well, unless Mellis goes into the pit lane. Has he gone in yet? No, he still ain't realised he's got no front end for Stefan Mellis. So I'm not saying he might not get caught, but this is where Bramer needs to get Bird for that top 10 pole for race number 2 and have a second go at it here as well. Miles Owens in YouTube chat, let's go Bramer, and then unfortunately just after he wrote that, Bramer had his lap his lap 1 incident with John McCutcheon. McCutcheon comes back, takes the fastest lap, 43.810 there over James Barry. Is like a 10th, I think, in front at this moment in time. But Harmon and Buson are having a right little go here as well. So a great job from all of these guys as they're continuing to fight it out on this very tough circuit.
Yeah, it is a really difficult place to go racing here. Very, very tricky indeed. With just over 4 minutes to go, we've got probably 5 laps or so still to go here. Long way round here just yet, as Matthews got off the road, I'm afraid, from 7th place, regaining 7th for Carl Jacquelet, re-handing that to him then in the 7th position. As we have a look here on the way in towards turn number 1 again. Buson gets a bit of a slide on the way in, but holds on still from Eric Harmon, who can't still find his way through.
That was very, very close. Harmon got very, very close to him there, and yeah, that could have been danger for both of these guys. I don't really want to have a look at Graham Matthews' one just yet, as we want to see this run down into Taylor's. Is Harmon going to be able to get the inside? Is Buson going to go at a defensive? He's not. Crab and Gonzaga back together again as well. Gonzaga's going to try the switch back on Crab. He's got to look and try and get a lot smoother run. He did do, but Crab tightened up the exit. Now it's going to be side by side on the way down into turn number 1. Slight little dink again, dink again. Oh, Paul Crab treated the car like a blinking banger race.
Yeah, that was a bit aggressive on the way towards turn 1 there. Jamie Bird, meanwhile, gets past Stefan Mellis, who's also been overtaken by Ewan Bramer back in the pack. That was a big slide from Crab. We'll have a look at what happened here to Mellis. Well, it's all going on here into the final corner. Still haven't got a front end, but it's clearly not affecting him very much. And there you go, there's the spin. That's how he lost the 2 places.
Yeah, no, this is the overtaking, just literally a sitting duck. Literally a sitting duck, and those guys just go straight past. But the more important thing, he's grabbed 10th place as Ewan Bramer. So Ewan's got 10th, but Paul Crab and Gonzaga. Oh, Paul!
Again, very aggressive with each other. Not sure what these two have said to each other beforehand, or what's been going on here, but being very aggressive with one another all of a sudden. Bremer gets through on Bird, meanwhile, back in the pack, so that is that change for 9th place as well. It's all been going on here for the first race of the evening here, just 10 minutes, of course. The reverse grid race still to come after this one. Top 10 will be reversed. That's why Bremer's pass into the top 10 is so important.
And he needs to stay on that front row. As much as he'd love to be able to get Graham Matthews and get a couple of more points, or what's that point I think he gets for where he is at this moment in time, isn't he? What is he? He is in 9th. So he'll get 18. So for 1 extra point and then coming back a row on the grid, is it really worth it? Personally, I wouldn't. I'd played a little bit of the game on that one. Gonzaga again with Crab. But if I was Bramer, I'd stay where I was to get the front row. He's literally...
Oh, no! Gonzaga, he should be able to get out ahead of Jacquelet, but he just hit the back of Crab there and spun around as a result.
Yeah, I want to try and go back a little bit more if I can for George, because you see he literally lifts him in the air going into the chicane. So I want to jump on the board on the nose, because he does literally slide underneath him coming out of the next couple of corners. I know we're a little bit of a further way back, but there we go. There's the slow run from Crab, and then it's down, and then bang, up he goes, lifts him up, lifts himself. And unfortunately for Gonzaga, he does go round. So Crab manages to survive. Gonzaga manages to survive as well. Up front, McCutcheon now, final lap of the race, and Barry's right there.
He is absolutely there, is James Barry, as Bramer takes the fastest lap of the race right at the end here. Now, will that take points away from John McCutcheon, or will there be one last go here in these final couple of laps? Over the line go the front 2. And they do not get the point. So Bramer's got it for the moment. Final lap, white flag waves for them. John McCutcheon with just one more time around to hold on.
Yeah, he's got one more go here. It's going to be a very thick and fast and quick lap. It's not going to be a lot to it. They're going to be doing a lot of laps in that next 45 minutes. But at the moment, I think it's going to be McCutcheon will hold on. Is there going to be a fastest lap on the final lap for any of these two if they go over the line?
Let's see, that could be the key moment here. Will Bramer put it further out of reach here? Yes, He goes over the line with another purple. Will there be an improvement from either of these two as John McCutcheon comes over the line to take a very important win here at Knockhill? Over the line they go. We're not going to find out. In fact, there they are. They will not improve. McCutcheon beats Barry, though, and gains 5 points.
Yep, he does. That's important for John. And Bramer's got pole fastest lap and down in 9th at the moment for Ewan Bramer. So he's grabbed himself 20 points there just by getting that final fastest lap on the board. Jamie Bird here just coming over the line, but there is Ewan Bramer going to grab front rows, 2nd place this time out. So it will be on the front row again, a long way from the people he needs to beat. But the problem, he goes faster even still on the final lap, does Ewan Bramer. Stefan Mellis, who's just drove the whole race without a nose, don't even know if he noticed he didn't have a nose, and David Rolliston from the Tiger Racing team as well. So a great first race, but now we've got that 45 minutes with a pit stop.
We certainly do. Still lot to look forward to here in the second race, but this is how they ended up in the first. It's John McCutcheon who wins, ahead of James Barry, with Eric Harlan hanging on from Mike Bousson in the end there. Paul Crabb finishes in the rest of the top 5, with George Gonzaga in 6th place. Carl Jacquelet was next after his collection of spins. Graham Matthew, Ewan Bramer and Jamie Bird will be the top 3 in the second race. Stefan Mellis and Dave Rosden finished a lap down. I think, not a lap down. I had it in my mind, though, because the thing I was noticing there towards the end is that McCutcheon and Barry were catching those two right towards the very end. We were only doing 10 minutes there. Over the course of 45 minutes, I suspect that all but maybe the top 5 or so will stay on the lead lap. There's going to be a lot of lap traffic for whoever's in the lead of this next race.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I agree with you. I think that's going to be the thing. There is going to be lap traffic there, and I think they're going to have to manage it and see. It could determine the pit stops, of course, because obviously if you're up behind lap traffic, you might as well go in to the pits and get out the way, I suppose. But yeah, this could be very cat and mouse, this next run.
In the championship, none of the top 6 positions change, although Mike Bousson gets a couple of points closer to George Gonzaga there. They're only 2 points apart now for 5th place, but the gap up front is 23 points now. As things stand, that is it's still close-ish for John McCutcheon, but I think he would like to be closer than that, really. He just need to gain a little bit further. That would mean that 47 points or so would be enough for Barry in the race next week. That would be at 13th place required only as things stand. That would be... Oh, excuse me, I need to do some more proper maths there, actually, to work that one out. It would be higher than 13th, but I can't quite do the maths while I'm talking. But I think McCutcheon will take that. 5 points gained on Barry. He'd like it to be more, but there wasn't a lot more he could have done there.
No. As we said, there were times when he just had to follow, and that was the thing, I think, for James Barry. You don't want to jeopardise points over that place. Yes, that jump is 5 points from the first to second, but at the same time you want to make sure you get to the end, right? Let's be real. John's going to fight tooth and nail. He's going to get his elbows out. He's going to summon his inner William Wallace and flash the kilt at you or whatever to make sure that you don't get past him. So I think Barry probably did the right thing for race number 1.
Yep, I think so. I've just done the maths, by the way, while you were talking. He would need 8th place or better to win the championship at this rate. That would score him 48 points, which would be an insurmountable amount for John McCutcheon to overtake him next week. So McCutcheon would like to decrease that further, but this restart and this second race start, I should say, is going to be really, really important. I mean, it is the hour-long race, the second race of the evening, but it's reverse grid. Barry and McCutcheon will be starting on row 5 together, and we know how these starts can be. We know how difficult it can be to work your way through traffic here as well.
Yeah, exactly. They've got 45 minutes to have a battle and a pit stop. Oof. Lots involved. Yeah, Mr. O'Leary, lots involved. So this is going to be a bit of an interesting one as well.
Second race course, yeah, as you say, pit stop mandatory with the top 10 reversed. Is there any way in which Ewan Bramer doesn't win this second race? He is starting on the front row here, alongside Jamie Bird, this man here. And he was pole sitter, of course, got involved in a lap 1 incident in race 1. So is there any way in which Ewan Bremer can be beaten here in this second race.
Yes. If he tangles up with JB Bird in the same place.
Well, this is true. It's not quite a carbon copy though, is it? Because he started on the outside this time.
Well, yeah, that's the thing as well. So it could be. But it's really hard because I really want Bremer to get off the line and go and take the win. But I know how tough Bird's been this season. You know, he's had a good season for Jamie Bird. He's sitting fourth in the championship at the moment. And them two, of course, are battling for that final third spot. So that's still all up for grabs here. So, yeah, I think Bird could be a bit of a tough cookie.
Yeah, as you say, Bird is 16 points behind Bremer now as a result of the opening race. And by the way, outside of the win to second place, it is 1 point per position in this series. So it's very easy math for you to follow at home. Just one position is 1 point lost as you go all the way down the field. So that is what we're looking at here today. It'll be 2 points next week as we combine our systems, our scale. And of course, 10 points between first and second. Winning the race is really advantageous in this series, as it should be, really. Warm-up comes to an end, and let's have a look in the meantime at the starting grid for this second race, with Jamie Bird starting from the front with Ewan Bremer. They will be ones to watch. Graham Matthew and Carl Jacquelet will be on row 2, ahead of George Gonzaga and Paul Crabb. Mike Brewson and Eric Harmon on row 4, ahead of James Barry and John McCutcheon, with Stefan Mellis and Dave Rosden, the only drivers to miss out on benefiting from that top 10 reverse grid. There is Jamie Bird. Again, same conditions apply for him, really. He's got to get this start right and get ahead of Ewan Bremer.
This is the problem. The start is so important. We can't emphasize enough how it is. It's the same in the back end. Look at the John McHutchison, who he's got to go past. He's got to try and clear Barry. He's got to try and clear them all. It's vital.
Here we go. Jamie Bird from the front here in race 2 at Knockhill, the final reverse grid race of the season gets underway. In towards turn 1 they go, and Jamie Bird does get a better start than what we saw from Bremer when he was in that position. Bremer gets into second, ahead of Graham Matthew, then it's Carl Jacquelet, although the two of them make contact. Third and fourth, they're both off the road. Matthew and Jacquelet in the gravel.
Yeah, they've come together there as well. Up through the chicane they go now. Whoa!
Oh,
Gonzaga got a massive slide. Huge. Is he gonna allow him through, or is he gonna defend like crazy? He's defending like crazy. Teammate of James Barry, of course. He's not gonna want it go. McHutchison breaks later, gonna take that position away from Gonzaga there as well. Gets the run out. Jamie Bird, however, Ewan Bremer breaking away at the front. They did what they had to do. They've got 1.8 back to the Irishman and Paul Crabb, and unfortunately Mr. Crabb has not got that luxury because he's got Mike Bousson in behind, James Barry, McHutchison, Gonzaga. This is almost, I know we don't do teams here, but this is Team Radline in the middle with Paul Crabb, Mike Bousson and John McHutchison, and insert name E-Racing there with James Barry and George Gonzaga. So I know we don't do teams, but will it play an effect? That's all I'm going to say.
Shouldn't do as we normally see, but you do never know as we continue on lap 2 of this race. As I predicted beforehand, I don't believe we'll get to 60 laps quite, but it's going to be a long, long way round here indeed tonight. Fastest lap for Jamie Bird, but he's immediately surpassed by Bremer, who is closing in on him here and pounding him now for that lead of the race. Down the hill they'll go, and this is the view of Ewan Bremer on the back of Jamie Bird, looking for his way past. Can't quite do it for the moment. He's following very closely though.
Do you know, coming through that chicane, there's such a bump as the cars land. They scrub so much speed. I do wonder whether or not to take the bump, not to take the sausage curb, but that's the fastest way through, unfortunately. Yeah, you haven't got a choice. But it scrubs so much speed when they come the other side. You can see here, but Coaches and Barry side by side as well. Bousson in there. Barry's gone into pit lane. Now, he did something like this last week with fuel and managed to get to the end, I believe he did. I'm trying to think back to the race, to be blatantly honest. It was a long time ago. I've done a lot of broadcasts since then. I can't remember. I think he got to the end of the race on fuel as well. But he did try something like this last week. So unless he's been a little bit sneaky again, Bird went off and came back on, and Ewan Bramer's passed him. So I did hear your shouts there, Mr. O'Leary, on that one as well. Tommy, go Ewan, as he is out in front. This is the important one here as well. But Crab, Bird, Buson. What's Mike going to do with John McCutcheon? Bird's got in as well.
Yeah, so responding there, not necessarily responding to James Barry, however, just pitting in himself. McCutcheon gets the fastest lap as of right now, and Mike Buson will stay ahead of John just for the moment. As we speak about many times between these two, they are teammates, but they very rarely look like it. They battle each other like normal, and I expect they will do the same again here. Bird did get ahead of Barry, although it's going to be close. Barry is going to be right up the back of him here, and they will immediately be battling for 10th. So whatever strategy this is from Barry, it's not worked out, but Bird immediately locks up and goes wide. Through goes Barry into 10th place.
So would you pit? Bad, James. Jamie Bird hangs on to it. So would you pit now if you're this man, knowing that you might come out in front of him?
Yeah, it's a good idea. It's a very good idea, unless you're really confident in your strategy and your speed here. But I think he's in a lot of traffic at the moment, is John McCutcheon. It is safer to cover off Barry and make sure you hold on to your track position ahead of him, because don't forget, just before that stop, John McCutcheon did overtake James Barry, and Jamie Bird, meanwhile, is in again.
Bird's back in pit lane. Not entirely sure what the second time of it is on that one for Jamie Bird, but he is coming back out on the pits. He's going to be, get out. He'll be out well in front of the leaders, so that's fine. But for McCutcheon, he doesn't go in, so he's obviously got a plan. Barry's obviously got a plan as well. He's probably rely on the fact that McCutcheon's going to fight Buson, going to fight Crab. Probably also as well, maybe not aware that they're on the same team. So I don't think Buson really fought very hard there. In fact, this was the overtake, and he stays all the way to the right. No real defence, and McCutcheon goes through. So, not really scrapping as much. However, Eric Harmon and David Rollison having a right old little ding-dong.
Yep, Harmon, I would have thought would be making some progress here up the field, and this might be the chance towards the final hairpin on the circuit, the only hairpin and the final one, into the corner, and Harmon has got the place. Nicely done on the brakes, and that was pretty easy in the end. Ralston couldn't really defend from him. Crab is now defending from McCutcheon. This is where the problem lies for McCutcheon. This is where Barry will gain the time.
This is where he needs, I don't know, pull rank. I don't know, do something, John, because at the moment you're leaking. Buson. Saved it. I thought he was going to torpedo John then. That would have been absolutely disastrous. But John needs all the points he can get at this moment in time. 6 minutes in, we're on lap 8. We've been 6 minutes. I think you could be a little bit wrong here. I think we're going to see 60 laps of these guys driving around this circuit. 43.7 for Ewan Bramer again for the fastest lap. So he's racked up 2 bonus points here. Gonzaga 44.054, fastest lap for him. But yeah, this is not good for John McCutcheon at this moment in time. He needs to clear Paul Crab.
Certainly does. And he's pretty close to doing so for the moment. And there we go. There should be the chance. A huge slide for Crab over the top of the hill, but no. Through turn 4 and 5, I felt sure that would be the chance for McCutcheon, but no. Now he goes wide at 6, and Booston will be right on the back of him, as will George Gonzaga again.
Yeah, mistake, I think. He didn't capitalise on the mistake from Crab, and he hasn't, and he then goes and makes a mistake himself. And these three holding Gonzaga at bay here. But listen, whatever we know about John McCutcheon, there's always something up his sleeve. That's the thing. He's a wily old Scotsman. There's always something up there that he's got in his locker. I don't know what it is. We never know what it is, and that's the thing. But there's always something, and I think there's going to be something here as well. And I think he'll be in and around Barry when they pit stop, I feel.
I think so. But I reckon just slightly behind. He'll be around, but I'm not so sure he'll be ahead at all here, John, at the moment. He's getting caught with Paul Crab. Look at where Bramer's going, by the way. Look at how far he's getting out ahead. That's the problem! And there's a bigger one! Crab and McCutcheon make contact. There's front wings off everywhere here. I think 3 of them have lost front wings. Booson, McCutcheon and Crab, I think, have all lost their front end. They'll all be in here. Excuse me, it's Gonzaga, and the other one who's lost his front end here, not Booson, who just goes through into second place. There is Gonzaga. He will get the repairs. So will McCutcheon. But James Barry now will definitely be ahead of John.
Yeah, he's gone. There you go. McCutcheon still in pit lane. And that was just one sorry effect of close racing. I think this is the problem. Watch as he comes in here. Slow on the way out. Brake. Tag. There's Buson's front end. Gonzaga's front end. And Buck Hutchinson's front end all at the same time. So, yeah, big issues there. Buson's come in now. That's going to release Eric Harmon into second place. Ewan Bramer is there sitting in first at the moment. Mike's in. Where's he going to come out in conjunction? John is still in pit lane or back in pit lane. I think he's still in pit lane. I've got a funny feeling there's a mistake coming here. I've got a speeding in the pit lane. Possibly for Mr. McCutcheon, because Buson has got out in front of him. 30 seconds plus 40. Yep, that's a speeding in the pit lane penalty for John McCutcheon. So,
Dear, dear.
Yeah, that's jeopardised quite a lot.
It has. Has that spelled the end of his championship charge as well here? It remains to be seen, of course, but there's James Barry, 4 positions ahead of him. That's only 4 points gained. But the reason it's so significant is that with every position he gains, that's every position he doesn't have to gain next week, when the points are worth effectively twice as much, when you consider them, stack them up against one another. Now, Barry does have potential more problems throughout this race. The idea that he'll have to overtake probably Matthew, Mellis, maybe Crab as well. However, Royston, probably, Harmon. However, he will be forever ahead of McCutcheon as long as things stay as they are as of right now, and he's in prime position. So I reckon he's in a very good place here, James Barry, and he is extending that championship lead at the end of the day, as far as I can see.
Yeah, I think you might be right. Depends if this is going to be, unless there's some disaster. I don't know what. I don't know where. I don't know if Graham Matthew and Barry's going to end up coming together. I can't answer the question. But unless there is some form of disaster, it could be James Barry's to lose next week.
Yeah, I think so. Depending on how many we get, of course, we will see if it's confirmed or not. I would imagine even with the amount that we get here today and the results ending as they are right now, the championship would not be over and Barry would still have to race well at the Nordschleife, although he would fancy himself to finish in the top 8. As I mentioned, that would be his requirement if things ended after race 1. Just over 10 minutes in, so we've had our race 1 distance already. Doesn't feel like it really, but we've still got 35 minutes to go. James Barry down the inside now. Graham Matthew just needs to not do anything silly, not make any contact, and that's exactly what's happened. James Barry has got down his inside and he's pulled just ahead of Graham Matthew in towards turn 1. He will seal the deal, surely. No. He's being very courteous. He doesn't want to get caught up in an incident, but now finally the job's done.
Yeah, he did there. He gave a lot of room to Matthews, and Matthews thought it was almost a sniff of having to go around the outside into turn 1. Didn't quite get it there. Gonzaga is slowly losing contact here. McCutcheon's still a lap down. I'm not quite sure how he's going to get that. I don't think he's going to get that lap back. I've got to be honest. He's what?
Jamie Bird right behind him on the road.
Bird's behind him, but Bird's in front of him on track.
Yeah, so he's... Wow, okay, so he's even further back than I realised. He's 45 seconds behind 10th. Never mind the leader.
Yeah, he's got to go all the way again to get Jamie Bird.
Oh, my goodness me. He's... well, to your point about speeding, that effectively cost him a lap. And, well, he's never getting that back, surely.
No, because we don't have safety cars or wave arounds or anything like that, so he's got no hope.
He would need proper NASCAR caution rules to get back.
Oh yeah, he needs a drama. He needs a drama. The problem is he had to stay in. There's no drop weeks in these 2 rounds. He had to try and get as many points as he could, and that's the problem. Regardless if he's a lap down, regardless if he's driving around on his own, regardless if he's, losing places, regardless if he's holding up Bird, whatever, he had to go. Because there's no drop rounds, and if he decided that, right, I've had enough now, he can't drop it. He'll lose points. So he's had to stay out. But the problem is for him, is this man here. That's the leader.
Well, I thought he was going to come in there just to avoid this bit of traffic, but it is lap traffic, of course, so it should be a bit easier to deal with. Will McCutcheon jump out the way, or will he stay there because he knows he's quick? These two should be heavier on fuel than Bremer, and so he should be catching them, and he is. But at what stage does he begin to flash the lights here, Bremer, and say, get out my way, I'm in the lead at the moment? Meanwhile, we've seen a change for third. Paul Crabb is now ahead of Dave Rolleston. I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong here, I don't think Paul Crabb has stopped yet, so that's a legitimate pass for third.
It is a legitimate pass, and no, he hasn't, is the answer to your question. Okay. Bremer, Harmon, Crabb, Rollo and Mellis have not pitted. Matthews hasn't pitted either. So there's still quite a few there, but as you say, Paul Crabb go through. Rollo not giving him up, though, as he's having a nice little battle there once again. Barry and Mellis are together on the race circuit, so unless there's some form of drama here once again. But where is Bremer? I would go into the pits. That would have been my pit call. That really would have been.
Yeah, I probably would have come in as well, to be honest. He just doesn't want to end up having to overtake Crabb and Rolleston on the circuit as well, though. That would be for an actual position. He's hoping that this lapping Bird and McCutcheon will cost him less time than overtaking Crabb and Rolleston for an actual place. And maybe I'd agree with him, actually. I don't know. It's not ideal either way, but what can you do to avoid traffic around a 45-second circuit?
Choose a pit strategy. I can't really answer it, to be honest with you, and I don't really know what he would have done any differently. This is the problem we've got here. You know, he's in behind a very fast man, so that's the upside of it. I'm not saying Bird's not fast, no detrimental effect there as well, as McCutcheon now goes off and runs a little bit wide. But for Bremer, John's got to make a decision. He's either got to move or he's just got to make sure he stays in front. Bremer, however, obviously one of the few that have got the fastest lap of the race here and is very, very swift indeed. You can see he is 43.7 to Bremer, 43.8 to McCutcheon. Last time around as they're coming over the line now, it's a 40, I believe it's a 44.15. Bremer, 43.7.
Yes. I think a lot of that is down to fuel difference. Surely if McCutcheon is going to the end, and we presume that he is, he's got to be heavier than Bremer, who isn't. I don't know how much fuel these guys would bother putting on, to be honest, in one of these races. I mean, do they even need to? I'm not entirely sure, to be honest.
They do need to. They do need to. That's why we've said it as it is. They're only on the official fixed strategy. So the official fixed strategy is about 30 to 35 minutes. They will need fuel to get to the end of the race. So that's without a shadow of a doubt.
Okay. As pulling out the way is Matthew there, Graham Matthew, who just lets Jamie Bird through. Now that could be helpful for McCutcheon here, who is now 48 seconds behind him. If he really gets a move on here, he can try and catch some of those like Matthew, who I don't think has stopped yet. And he needs every position he can get here, McCutcheon, so he needs to try and catch him.
Yeah, Matthew has not stopped. So that's an opportunity for him. But the pit stop is not very long here as well. We've seen variations in pit stop times. Mike Pousson, pit stop time of 27 seconds. Pit lane time 27. Pit stop time 9. James Barry, pit lane time 23, pit stop time 9. So there's some variations on pit stop times. Obviously I won't go into John's because he got himself a speeding penalty.
Yes, that is an outlier for that reason. So just less than half an hour to go. No battles on the circuit as things stand, but we know that the battle between Bremer and Barry is surely on its way here at the moment. Could be quite an important one as well. I think if Barry wins this race, that's a real statement that the others are just not going to be able to come back from. As things stand, McCutcheon either way would be losing a good 6 points to him. I think it could get as high as 9 points in this race. That would be an effective loss on the evening, and surely that gives Barry the initiative going into the final round of the championship next week.
The problem is, as we know, it's Nords. That's literally all I'm going to say. It's Nords, and anything can happen at Nords. It doesn't matter if you've driven 1,000 laps at Nords, it only takes 1 lap to kill yourself. And that is what can happen at Nords. You know, the run down into Arenberg, if you brake late, you're in the gravel, and then when you're on there, you're going to hit a barrier. You know, there's lots that could go wrong at Nords. So I think these guys are going to have to really, really make sure they nail this round, try and get as many points as they can, because Nords is one of them circuits where it's such an enigma. We don't know. It almost comes under the maverick category of circuits because you never know if you're going to get one finisher. You never know if you're going to get 10. You might not get any. That's the way of Nords it is. It's very difficult. Low cars, high curbs don't go together. That's the problem.
Yep, this is true as well. This is true. So, never over till it's over. But I don't think you ever want to get into a situation where John McCutcheon, I think he is looking at this situation now. I don't think you want to be in a situation in a championship, in a final race, where you're thinking, even if I win today, I need James Barry to go off the road. Because, yes, it can happen for the reasons you just said. However, you don't want to be relying on it like John will be if things stay as they are.
Yeah, and that's the thing. He wants to be able to make his own luck, and at the moment, Eric Harmon's just got the fastest lap of 43.691. So a lot of the fastest laps are coming towards the end of the stint, so the guys on lower fuel. Bramer's also within that area as well. Eric Harmon, Crab, Rollo. Barry is the first of the men that has pitted. Now, it's whether or not he's got his little fuel calculations correct and is able to do it. Now, this is an important stop because it's important for this man, but it's whether or not I think Matthew might get out in front of John McCutcheon here. But he is still stationary at the moment. Still stationary. He's got to be going very, very shortly. There he goes. Where is he? Final corner. Matthews is going to clear him probably by half the straightaway. Yeah,
however, will he be caught? That's the big question here. As he pulls wide there for a lapped driver. McCutcheon will be towering in here. And surely he will be able to get 10th place away from Graham Matthew, who has spent most of the last few moments trying to stay out of everybody's way. And since he's a lap down, he's really tried desperately hard not to interrupt everybody else. But that'll play into McCutcheon's hands because he is a little bit quicker and should be back on his way through. There you go, 3 seconds the margin at the moment.
Yeah, you saw John in the background there again. He pulls out the way for Gonzaga, for Matthews. And here comes the Scotsman over, funny enough, the other Scotsman. So John McCutcheon and Graham Matthews there, both from the upper regions of the United Kingdom, where you get wind, rain, snow, hail, all in one part of Edinburgh.
Afternoon.
Yeah, dude, I had it when I went up to Edinburgh last week. Oh, no. 3 years ago, literally, me and my partner's boss's husband, literally, we walked down Edinburgh High Street, mate. We had wind, rain, sun, snow, hail, and we'd only walked the length of the High Street.
Yep.
It was crazy. Right. Absolutely crazy. It was like being at Spa in Edinburgh. It was just a complete own weather system there it was, as McCutcheon clears Matthews.
Yeah, there we go. So that's 10th place now for John McCutcheon. 40 seconds up to Jamie Bird. He's not getting that back, I don't think. He'll be hoping that those who still have to stop, i.e. Mellis and Rolliston maybe, will come out close enough to him that he's in striking distance here. But this is turning into a very difficult evening for John McCutcheon, who, as things stand, is losing 5 points to Barry. But I think it's pretty safe to assume Barry will overtake some of those ahead of him after the pit stops. In fact, he's on the back of one of them right now in the form of David Rolliston, is James Barry. There is the battle for 4th place.
Yeah, Rollo's not pitted either.
Yeah,
this could be a big gain for Barry. The question... Buson and Gonzaga.
Oh, wow. So, they were both catching Stefan Mellis. Buson was more so, but neither of them are now, as we have a look at the replay. He's just spun round on his own as Buson. And Gonzaga didn't see it happening in front, had to come to a dead stop there. So that will have cost him some time, but it hasn't cost him quite as much as it's cost Buson, who has been unlapped now by McCutcheon and maybe put 1 lap down by Bramer.
Yeah, Bird's there behind in front of McCutcheon now. 39 seconds up the road. So, for Buson on that, he's got unlapped from John, but he has got Bramer now behind him. Now, we did say it'd be at least 5 drivers.
Bramer got that wrong there. Sorry, had a big slide. And it'd be worth coming in now, probably, because he's got a bad exit. No.
I would have gone in. Every bit he stays out is every bit of worry.
Although, this is helping him.
Yeah. He is. Rollo defending here. How much defence is he going to put on the inside? Not a lot.
Oh, here we go. He should be through here. Oh, careful doing that. Ralston in the back of Barry there almost. You can, as John McCutcheon found out, very easily get yourself into a crash. Mellis has been caught by Gonzaga, who did have to come to a dead stop to avoid Booston, but he's still catching Mellis, who is also just ahead of John McCutcheon here. This is quite awkward for John, because he wants to push on, he wants to get past and push on. However, he can't do that really at the moment, because there's two ahead of him. It'd be very difficult for him anyway, because of the blue flags.
Yeah, he's got to be mindful of what he's going to do here. If Gonzaga makes an obvious move that John can read and think, actually I can go through, then he'll be all right. But I don't think Gonzaga's going to give him that, being that he's James Barry's teammate.
No, exactly. He's not going to be quite that nice, I wouldn't have thought. Here we go. Gonzaga has a look down the inside of Mellis, and this should be a slam dunk move. And John might try and follow him through here as well. They get very slow with each other in the corner. Mellis comes to almost a dead stop there behind Gonzaga, who broke quite late to try and get the place. And here comes McCutcheon on both of them. Gonzaga doesn't want to let this happen, but he might have to. McCutcheon dives down the inside, says, I'm taking this place, whether I've got blue flags or not. I need to push on here. And he does get ahead of George Gonzaga, but only just.
Yeah, Gonzaga's now got to make a decision. Does he go back at him? This is the problem. Oh, no.
Oh, no, he doesn't.
No, he doesn't. That's not going to help. However, that will bring Stefan Mellis into this fight. Paul Crabb has been off the side of the circuit, has come back on. Stefan Mellis there is with Gonzaga, who's further up. Buson's closing in on Mellis. So the man from Froome in Somerset closing in on Stefan Mellis here as well, and doing a great job. And he's got to be looking at trying to get that place away. Of course, for Mellis, he's still not stopped. Still not stopped.
No. Still waiting for that stop. And Mike Bousson is going to take advantage and pass him here. Just over 20 minutes to go, by the way, in the penultimate race of the season, as Bousson does close in on Mellis, who lets him through. No fight in the end. Stefan Mellis decides to let him through. So, when will he make his pit stop? But also, where's he going to come out in relation to McCutcheon? How many more positions can he gain, the Scotsman, as Ewan Bremer puts Gonzaga a lap down? Now just 5 on the lead lap.
Go in. I do worry. I've got to be honest, I do worry, because that gap to Barry's only 25 seconds. Miles Owens, he needs to go in. Get him in the pit box. Every bit of traffic he sits behind is every bit of time he's losing. This is going to be close. And I don't just mean, 2-3 seconds. This could come down to meeting on pit exit here. Miles, you need to get him in pit lane. He has to go in soon, because he's losing time at a rapid rate of knots to James Barry. It's coming down. It's now, what is it at the moment? 25.8. It was close to a 26, but for Ewan Bremer, you've got to get in the pit lane, mate. I'm sorry, but you have to.
He's still not for the moment. Still staying out there, and that's why he's still going quickly. Fastest lap of the race so far from him there. So, normally I would agree, actually. Get in the pit lane, get ahead of Barry and use your track position. But actually, he's going quickly at the moment. He's on lower fuel, and he's taking advantage of the fact here with just less than 20 minutes to go. If he's doing those kind of lap times, I think he'll feel more than welcome to stay out here for the moment. As out the pit lane comes Stefan Mellis, the gap will normalise between himself and John McCutcheon, and that final position that McCutcheon can maybe gain without problems ahead will now become clear. 37 seconds is the current margin. I don't think that's a real one just yet. It's going to tumble down. Where's it going to stop? It's going to be below 15 seconds. This is gettable, I think, for John McCutcheon. It stabilises at just 14 seconds.
Yeah, Miles Owens comes in YouTube chat. There is a plan. The plan for this man is go. Go, go, go. Go fast. Risk it for a chocolate biscuit. You need all the points you can get. However, Bousson needs his place away from Gonzaga. He's got the run now into the right-hander. Bousson's going to take it, I think. He's going to be slow on the exit. That's going to allow Gonzaga to come running back at him here. And down into Taylor's now. What is Bousson going to do? And he's not going to be able to get through this time around. I love Miles Owens' response. There is a plan.
I think he's talking about Bremer, because we've been criticising him a little bit for staying out, but clearly there is a plan for him as Busen has another look at Gonzaga. By the way, if Busen finishes just one position ahead of Gonzaga today, or indeed 2 positions, or 3, but no more than that, then next week, effectively, it will be whoever finishes ahead of the other will take 5th place in the championship, or take the position, whichever it will be, ahead of the other, because they're both actually beating Jamie Bird, and they're both catching Jamie Bird tonight. So he might come into the fray. But if things stay as they are, or sorry, if they reverse and Busen gets ahead of Gonzaga, it would be the winner out the two of them takes 5th place.
Yeah, there's still all to play. This is what I mean. Nothing's wrapped up. By the time we've done the scores here, nothing will be wrapped up completely, where we can go into Nords next week and go, it's done and dusted. I don't believe this is finished in any shape or form. There's still something can happen. There's still lots that can go on here. So we'll see how they get on. But I think for now, let's just see how they get on for the next 12 minutes.
Yes, certainly. As we make our way into turn 6 with these two. Busen looking for that exit on the way down in towards the final corner. Of course, Jamie Bird is only just under 2 seconds behind them, actually, so maybe he's not out the picture yet either as they make their way into this final corner. Busen not able to find his way through. Just over 15 minutes here. He does have time on his side to try and make this work.
Yeah. But it's really difficult because for some reason, whatever the reason is, and we don't know what it is, you get closer to a driver, you drive faster, yeah? But he's got to try and do it in a way.
Oh, that's got to be illegal. Goodness me. Oh, and he goes for it at turn 6. Well, that was rather manufactured by a curb hop there, but Busen's gone too deep in the corner, and here comes Gonzaga again. He's coming back at him now on the inside line. He should be through here, Gonzaga, and he is back ahead again, and the two of them stop, and Harmon's off. Wow, Harmon has gone for a spin at the final corner, and he goes back to pit lane.
This is one of them.
He's been having issues for some time then.
Yeah, I think that
pulled off there. Oh dear.
Oh, that could be some form of home issue for Eric Harmon.
That's the conclusion I would come to as well. That's a real shame for Eric Harmon. That is a real shame. Hopefully everything's okay.
Yeah, I'm on it. I'm on it.
Okay, thank you. That, of course, gives McCutcheon another place and moves him up to 9th, but that would still be a 7-point loss for what I'm projecting at the moment for him on the day. And if Barry wins, then surely it's got to be as good as over here tonight. I think, by the way, I'm right in saying Ewan Bremer still holds the fastest lap, though, as he did, of course, in race 1.
Yes, you are still correct. There we go, 43.544. I'm not quite sure what.
That's faster than what he did in Quali, isn't it? Or as quick, anyway.
Nearly as quick, I think it was, yeah. I don't know what the plan is for the Sim Race Sweden boys, but whatever it is, they've told me there is one. I can only.
They're adamant.
Yeah, they're adamant. He put it there in YouTube chat. It's there for you all to see, but I don't know what it is. And he can't have long left on the fuel. He physically can't have long left on the fuel.
Well, you say that, but James Barry came in after 3 minutes. He must be feeling comfortable that he can make it to the end anyway. So, you know, I'll tell you where you put it. I suppose that they don't start with. They all start with the same amount of fuel, I suppose, don't they?
Yes.
They don't start with full fuel, if I'm not mistaken.
No, they start obviously with the fact that whatever iRacing gives them for their setup. That is, again, that's not dictated by me. That is dictated by whatever the setup gives them.
Yes, so that means that we will be. I'll interrupt myself because Gonzaga seems to have got past Boutsen again somewhere. Not sure where that would have happened. Final corner, I suppose. Jamie Bird is caught here as well, so it's a three-way battle now for 3rd place. 5th place. They are all fighting for 4th in the standings as well.
Yeah, I love Miles. Can't share, it's telling. He said. He ain't wrong. I know he ain't wrong. It's just a shame because we want him to share. But Gonzaga, Bousson and Bird, these guys having a nice little freeway battle. All three of these have pitted. David Rolliston has not. Barry is now totaling currently only, what is he behind? It's 26 seconds. Behind Ewan Bramer at this moment in time. So Ewan should have enough to come in and out and be in front. However, Gonzaga and Bousson.
Hello. Bumping over the line. Gonzaga around the outside. He's going to run out of room there. And Bousson goes through. Here comes Bird. He's trying to go through as well. Oh, locks up. There's contact. Well, Bird realised that was going to happen because he locked up and now he gives the place back to George Gonzaga.
Yeah, he was late. That's the problem with Bird. He was very late on that move. However, Gonzaga again didn't see that situation come across him, and Bird obviously realised that was his fault and gave the place back.
He did. Well, whether that move was on or not, I think is irrelevant. There was contact. And Bird feels responsible for it. That might allow now, with less than a quarter of an hour to go, might allow Bousson to scamper away with 5th place.
Yeah, right. I think this is now Mike's opportunity. He's been given that shot. He's been given that moment to now basically pull away. Allow these guys to fight. That gap between himself and them is 4.27 seconds. That should extend with these guys if they're taking off through like chicane. I'm surprised they haven't damaged the car yet. If they continue to fight.
Yeah, they are rather taking off a little bit. Oh, and this is a good run for Bird. He's on the outside line of George Gonzaga now. And surely this is going to be at least an attempt at getting a run on the front straight here. Not about going for it in the final corner. It's about getting the run here. Has he got the exit? Maybe not as good as he was hoping for there. He's tucked right in the slipstream as they go under the bridge. He's going to pull to the outside line, his Bird. And he's going to have to brake late, but no. Can't brake late enough. And he still is staying in 7th place.
Yeah, it's still there at the moment, but for how long? That's going to be the question. He's going to go over this curve. They're going to take off again. There's the jump. There's the hop, skippity jump. And Bird got the long...
that was a big dive.
He got
and
it.
Gonzaga was just about given enough room on the outside line. Here he comes again, though. Bird won't get the place from that quite. Will he get it at the final corner instead? He dived for the apex early. Here comes Gonzaga on the exit, though. It's decent. He gets back into the slipstream again. He'll want to fight back because he will know Bird has a great chance of getting away from him entirely if he doesn't make this move again. But no, he cannot quite do it. And he has to stay behind again here in towards the next few corners. Jamie Bird up to 6th place.
Yeah, he got Gonzaga there, but it all started not long after the initial incident. Actually, let's go forward a little bit. So this is where they're too wide. That was the situation with Bird where he did give him just about enough room on the outside to come back on, and then still manages to hold on there. A little bit of bump and grind going into the final corner, and then it was job done for Jamie Bird. So but then again, this battle's still not finished as there's still only 6/10 back on the racetrack. Ewan Bramer, unless you are frantically fuel saving, sir, you need to be in.
Crab's in. So I think he's the only one left now, other than Rosden, actually, who's not been in yet either. McCutcheon, by the way, has got past Mellis for 8th place, so that's another gain for him, and he's 25 seconds behind the battle between Bird and Gonzaga. There is McCutcheon just up ahead of us here, by the way, as we watch Bramer. Still, he carries on as we enter the final 9 minutes of this race.
Yeah, goes and puts Paul Crabbe a lap down, so that's only, what have we got at the moment? Three drivers, and one of them is still to pit. So, it'll be 2. It'll be him and James Barry who'll be the only ones on the lead lap. Gonzaga's now coming back at Bird again. These guys providing the action at the moment as they are fighting out here through the right-hander. They go. This plummet down. Have you driven this circuit in this car?
Not this car, no. I have driven it, though, in the past. And it is quite something. I can't imagine it's very nice in this car, actually, but maybe it is better than it looks.
It's 100% concentration because everything comes at you so quick. It literally just is one corner, and then once you get past turn 1, through 4 and 5 through the chicane, you can have a little bit of rest, but then you've got to do it all again in 40 seconds. Bremer, plan A. Sure, we're not on plan Z by now, Miles Owens, on this one, because he's still not in the pit at the moment, and he's stuck up behind John McHutchison again. But yeah, from now, it's quick. It's a right, bang, down the hill, pick your braking point, get it broke straight, now into the right-hander, get on the gas, let the car run wide a little bit, drop it in tight. Now you've got a straight line to chicane, aim at something. I don't know what you pick, but you pick something that you can see. Now you've got this run out again. It's constant. It's bang, 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 bang all the way through. Now you rest.
And he's got it slightly wrong through turn 6. Gonzaga. Bird gets a better run as Bremer goes past the pit lane again here with 7.5 minutes remaining. This is the only battle on the circuit just for the moment. John McHutchison brings the gap down to Ralston to just less than 20 seconds, but I think he's going to run out of time there. As things stand, he would lose a further 6 points to James Barry. That would put him negative on the day. That would bring him out to 29 points behind going into the final race, needing a 30-point improvement, of course, a 30-point gain on the final race of the day, or the final race of the season, I should say. And so he would need James Barry to finish 12th or lower. That would be very, very difficult indeed for McHutchison to imagine, I would have thought, as we have a look at Bremer here. Is that another fastest lap for him? 26 seconds,
Yeah, he just took another one on the last lap. 43.48 for Ewan Bremer. So another fast lap for Ewan. The Dutchman is absolutely flying. He's trying to cement that. I don't know if he can get John, but he's going to be close after this.
Yeah.
It's going to be close. It will be really close for Ewan Bremer. So he's still in there. There he goes. Now he goes in. So where are you? You are down the right-hander at the moment. So you're all the way down at Clark. So Bremer's got to come in, get it stopped. No silly shenanigans. Now Barry being held up a little bit for Rollo. Rollo does end up letting him go. Bremer fuel. Can't need much. He's on his way out.
It's clear.
Oh,
He'll be okay.
Yes, he will.
As Bird and Gonzaga go through on him, so we're back to 6 on the lead lap, which sounds a bit more sensible. But Bremer is in the lead of this race still. Just over 5 minutes to go. The plan has worked, and I guess it was always going to with the lack of traffic for Bremer. He only had to get past Jamie Bird in this race. James Barry, of course, had to overtake 7 drivers to get where he is right now, and he did overtake a lot of them on the circuit as well. Because of that early pit stop, I think he thought he was getting himself out of traffic, but actually he's made quite a lot of overtakes here in this race. Maybe not as a result of pitting early, but it's certainly not helped him that much.
No, I think that's the thing. He's obviously gone away and done some fuel calculation, right, as Barry. That's the thing. He's gone away, he's done fuel calculations, he's worked out, right, I can pit here, and then I still have enough to get to the end. So the fuel usage at Knockhill might be very, very minimal. What Bremer doesn't want to do is A, give himself any issues whatsoever, and B, to make sure he completes the next 5 minutes. Because although we're sitting there saying, oh, it's 5 minutes, normally we would have 2 laps, we're going to have 5 or 6 here. So he's got to go through that chicane another 5 times to make sure he can finish this race off. Very, very difficult indeed. And he's got back markers into the mix as well. Gonzaga can play a part if he really wants to. He can make this as difficult as possible for Ewan Bremer. I'm not saying he will. I'm just saying it's there if it's a thing for him.
It certainly is. If things stay as they are, by the way, Bremer would be 53 points behind Barry. That's quite a long way, really, in the final race with only 70 available. So that means that he'll be almost out of contention, but he might well have known that. I mean, if things stay as they are and he takes the fastest lap here, Bremer will actually score the most points of anyone today, which I guess is pretty amazing.
Yeah. And that's the thing, with the amount of points that's up for grabs, it does leave quite a few people taking a lot more points than what you think. Especially with the fact that obviously for Bremer, he's going to take 40 for race number 1, and he took for race 2, plus the bonus point, which looking like he's going to take 41, plus he took 20 in race number 2, 61 points that Ewan Bramer's taken. You know, so he's well up there tonight. He's had what can be deemed a good run in the evening. Would he have liked more points in race number 1? Absolutely, but it happens.
And guess what, by the way? James Barry scoring 60 points as things stand to Bramer's 61, McCutcheon 59. So 2 points difference between the three of them. Effectively, no change, but that's bad for Bramer and McCutcheon, and great for Barry because he comes in with the advantage, of course, and a pretty big one at that. So he'll be very pleased indeed with the way that tonight has gone as we complete these final 2.5 minutes.
Bird's
we'll have
gone
3
off.
laps to go when Bramer gets to the line here.
Yeah, Bird's just taking a trip through the gravel, and again there for Jamie Bird, so he's getting a little bit squirrely towards the end of the race. As we say, coming up to 40, it should be 43, so it should be 3 laps, I would have thought. But we do know how the wonderful world of iRacing sometimes works, along with the fact that we don't always see a white flag if it's really close. But I think this is a little bit more definitive, should be 3 laps. So he's got 3 more times through the most important part of this racetrack, which is that chicane.
Barry is catching, by the way. Less than 4 seconds is the margin, but I'd imagine with 3 laps to go, he'd need to gain by about 2 seconds a lap, to be honest, to be close enough by the end. So, and give himself a chance on the last lap. So I don't think that's quite going to happen. It's just going to keep Bramer on his toes in these final few moments. He cannot afford a mistake here.
No, he definitely can't, and he that's what I mean with Barry in this racetrack. You may sit back and think, oh, what we got, like 8 corners? Maybe not even that, 4, 5, 6, 7 corners. But they're 7 toughies. They're not easy. Everything downhill, blind chicane. You know, there's lots that could go wrong. You've got back markers in the mix for Ewan Bramer as well. That's still 4.8 out in front. Did Barry make a mistake? No, I think he's just backed off a little bit for James Barry. So he's got to make sure he can just land and go through every single lap.
This is just the final minute of the race now. And so will be the final lap as well when they get to the line. Just boosting up time to gain 1 extra point from Paul Crabb here. That would be a very important one for him to get a bit closer to George Gonzaga and Jamie Bird here. As things stand, Booston would be level on points with Gonzaga at the end of the day. And 1 more would put him just ahead. Still, though, we're in the situation where whoever finishes ahead of the other next week will be crowned with 5th place in the championship, depending on where Jamie Bird finishes. Could be in 4th place as they make the way over the straight. Booston's getting very close here in towards turn 6. He has a look on the inside. This is a late attempt, and Crabb holds him off for now.
Oh, he's going to tuck right in behind him, tuck in again and have another go at him. He's going to have a go. The Irishman's just gone on the right. We're going to try to cut back. Oh, it's a runner. Straight drag. Yep. Look at Crabb. He's a little bit feisty in that Jaguar machine.
Meanwhile, Ewan Bramer has taken the wing, by the way, with another fastest lap of the race. He's surely secured that bonus point. Ewan Bramer wins the last feature race of the season. The last 45-minute race of the season goes to him as he scores the most points of anybody here today as things stand, unless there's a real late shock. What about Booston and Crabb? This is for an extra point for Booston to bring him tied in 5th place in the championship. If he can get this one, or indeed take it for himself, I should say, into the final turn. He's looking to get a better exit than what he did last time round. He didn't have his nose in front quite. This time he doesn't either. Paul Crabb hangs on to 3rd place.
Yeah, great job there as well. Apologies to Ewan Bramer. That laps went super fast. So while we were looking at that, but he does grab the fastest lap for Ewan Bramer. So he's got pole and both fastest laps. Race 1, he was in 9th, and then race 2, he's taken a win. So a nice little bunch of points for Ewan Bramer here this evening as well. Great job done from him, and should be rather pleased with himself. But here are the results.
Yeah, Ewan Bramer wins by 5.3 seconds ahead of James Barry. Paul Crabb and Mike Booston battle with one another to the line, but Crabb wins that battle, finishes on the podium. Jamie Bird was the first driver 1 lap down, getting lapped late on after passing George Gonzaga. David Ralston held off John McCutcheon in the closing laps. Stefan Melliff and Graham Matthew round out the top 10. Eric Harmon and Carl Jacquelet had to retire along the way. So that is the feature race for you, the last feature race of the season. Let's chat to the winner, Ewan Bramer, who can now join us. Ewan, welcome to the move. Good to have you with us, and congratulations on race 2 victory tonight. Let's go over that first and go over the highlight of the day, I'm sure, for yourself. What was your strategy going into that one? Because the difference between you and James Barry, who finished second, was very, very big indeed. He came in after just 3 minutes. You came in with barely 3 minutes to go. What was the thinking behind that?
Fuel saving. I caught up with some back markers and I could just save some fuel. Back markers. I wouldn't say back markers. John was in front of me, but yeah, so that's why.
Well, it seemed to work out for you, certainly. Let's chat about race 1 as well, though, because I know that wasn't quite as strong for you, and you must be disappointed with it. Tell us about the incident on lap 1.
Oh yeah, that was just I saw John going off, and I should have backed out. But of course, lap 1 he overtook me, so I wanted to overtake him immediately again on the outside, but there was just no room. I was too close, so all on me, my own mistake. Should have waited. But yeah, after that I was on pace. I think I got the quickest lap both races. So.
Yes, you certainly did. And indeed, don't know if you know this, you scored most points of anybody tonight. So
let's go.
Counts as a round win or what, but there you go. You've got the most points. So congratulations on that. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
All the boys driving, of course, every week. You guys every week, guys in the team. And a special shout out to my mate John and Miles. That'd be it.
All right. Well, congratulations on finishing first in race 2 tonight. And thanks for coming to chat to us as well.
Welcome, mate. And thanks again. I really enjoyed it. I'm going to sweat a lot and take a shower.
Thanks very much. Ewan Bramer there, winner tonight in race 2. Just ahead of James Barry, who can now join us as well. Second place in both the races tonight, James. Congratulations on that. Let's start with race 2 again. You pitted very, very early. Ewan pitted very, very late. He said that was down to fuel saving. Were you fuel saving as well? What was the thinking behind pitting after just 3 minutes?
No, I knew exactly how much I had to put in. I was just thinking about getting held up behind Paul Crab. My mind was more on John than anything else. Obviously, we've been fighting for the championship all season, and I just wanted to make sure I wasn't going to get held up. There was, I think, Paul and George. No, I think it was Paul and Mike, and I was pretty certain they were going to be defending, so I decided to pit in so I could get into clean air, just do my laps. And yeah, I think it worked out in the end because I heard that John got caught up in something, I don't know what.
Yeah, a little bit of an incident down at the final corner that took his front end off, along with some others as well. But did it end have the desired effect for you? Apart from that, of course, the incident, of course, helped you because you weren't around to get involved in it, I suppose. But do you feel like you ended up in just about the same amount of traffic anyway? Because everybody seemed to run quite long. You seemed to catch them and seemed to have to overtake the guys you were trying to avoid on circuit anyway.
It was only a couple of people, and people didn't make it too hard. Like I remember David Rolliston, for example. I don't remember which overtake was which, but there was one guy who I kind of just sent it down the inside and made the decisive move without getting held up too much. So it worked out fine. For the most part, I was able to do my laps, and for me, it was just about attrition. It was quite physically tough. I'm in a bit of pain after that, but I knew if I can just keep the car on the track, I was hoping I would be able to catch Ivan, but he did an amazing job. He was super fast, so there was not much I could do in any case.
And in race 1, how much of an eye did you have on that race win, and how much of an eye did you have on the championship when you were looking at John McCutcheon towards the end?
Well, I came in today thinking I'm going to have to beat John in one of the races at least, because every point counts now in these last 2 races. So, and I don't trust myself to necessarily win at Nordschleife. So, yeah, I wanted to win that race, but he was super fast, and I'm sure he would have been really good in race 2 had he not got caught up in whatever happened. So, yeah, it was what it was.
Certainly. Is there anyone I'd like to give a shout out to before we let you
go? Just shout out everyone driving. I hope everyone had fun. I mean, it was a really fun track to drive, real proper challenge. This one probably the most difficult of the season. So yeah, thanks for everyone for taking part.
Thanks very much for coming to chat to us. Congratulations on second place tonight, James, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, cheers. Thank you. See you next week.
Thanks very much, James Barry. Second place in both the races tonight. Third place in race 2 was Paul Crab, who can now join us as well. Welcome in, Paul. Good to have you with us, and congratulations on holding on to third at the very end there. You were certainly under a lot of pressure in those final few laps. How did you manage to hold on, do you think? Well, we can't hear Paul at the moment. I'm not sure whether he's got himself on mute because he's forgotten to unmute himself, or whether he's just not there at the moment. So we'll give him a couple of moments.
Yeah, or he's pushed to talk and not realise that he's pushed it. Do you know the interesting... Oh, he's gone. Do you know the interesting thing for me in them two interviews is they both sounded absolutely shattered.
Yeah.
Didn't they?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
I thought it was just me, but maybe it's not. Let's pull Paul Crab in and see if he can hear us. Paul, can you hear us?
Well, he looks like he's on mute on our end to him. It looks like he's muted within Discord itself,
yeah. He needs to kind of... I think you might need to right-click it, Paul, and see if you can take yourself off mute.
There we are, gents. Sorry about that.
That's all right. How did you manage to hold on to third there in race 2?
Well, as I said the first time, it was never in doubt.
You liar.
Mr. Busan, he nearly had me, but if you take the right line, it's difficult to get past. Yeah. I've got some blisters on my hands, and my hands are getting really sore.
Oh, yes. You're the third person to say that you're in some sort of physical discomfort after Knockhill. Is that because of this circuit? Just how challenging was it physically?
Yeah, it is just so hard. There's no let up. Yeah, I had one mini spin on the entry onto the straight when my actual steering cracked out. It got overloaded. So anyway, but I'm not complaining. I had a great run, so it was good fun.
Exactly. That's what matters. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Well, I was going to give a shout out to John McHutchinson, but for two things. He didn't tell me how much fuel I needed to complete the race, and he punted me off on the third or fourth lap. So, well, it's like a negative shout out to John McHutchinson.
Hold on, Mr. Crab.
I'm joking.
I'm not worried about you saying that. I'm more worried about you saying he punted him off. Was you slow through that final corner that caused that checkup?
No. It's the way I go into it. I go in. I go slowly in, and accelerate out hard.
Yeah, I'm going to put that one on John as well. To be fair, James. So I'm
all right. You lot carry on. I'm just going to sit and shut up.
It's okay. I mean, it was definitely not deliberate by John. It was different cornering speeds.
Yeah,
without a doubt. Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be foolish to lay any sort of deliberate blame on John.
or indeed say that he did it on purpose. Yeah, indeed.
Yeah. So I think it was about 20 minutes too long, that race.
Well, if it was a bit shorter, then who knows? Paul, congratulations on making it the full 45 minutes and make it onto the podium as well. And we look forward to seeing you next week.
Okay, thank you, gents.
Thanks very much, Paul Crab there, the third place driver, the final podium driver at the end. There we go. Reached a bit of agreement on the incident as well. That incident, I think, is going to define this race a little bit and maybe even define the championship as well. Had that not happened, and it was in the end John McCutcheon's making, I think, but had that not happened, he might have gained points today and made his job and life a little bit easier going into next week. But as it is, James Barry just needs to finish 11th at the Nordschleife and he will be the champion.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, if John does do it, he's going to have to do it the hard way. That's all I'm going to... Basically, that's all I think we can say. If he does it, he's got to do it the hard way. And the hard way is, unfortunately, he's got to beat Barry and not hope that Barry comes into some form of distress. But, you know, for Barry, he's got to be in some form of distress. But I think this is the thing. I think... it's still open, and I'll do the points after this and see where we lay in the sort of the world of the land almost, and see what is going to be up for grabs. But I think first and second still going to be fighting. I think possibly third, fourth, and fifth might be there as well.
As far as these are provisional points, of course, because they've just been done with my mathematics. and so not necessarily accurate. But I've got it with Barry on 29 ahead of McCutcheon, Bramer 53 behind Barry, and as a result, still involved, but he would need pretty much everybody in the series to turn up next week and finish ahead of Barry, with him winning as well. So it's not likely, but it is mathematically possible for him to win next week. Jamie Bird, can't win. He's fourth at the moment, but he is only 16 points ahead of Gonzaga and Busan as far as my points are concerned. And so that is a very much a position that can change. They'll all be fighting for fourth next week as well. We'll have the proper points available for you at the start of next week's race, though. Make sure you join us. Same time, same place, just before 9 o'clock UK time for the final round of the JPU Radical SR8 Championship. Between now and then, though, you can subscribe and catch all the other racing that goes on throughout this week. Continuing on, of course, tonight, myself and James will be back for the Autobahn Sports Car Challenge, so we'd like to see you then if you are up late in Europe. For now, though, for myself, Ian Leary and James Parfitt, it's goodbye from Knockhill. We'll see you again in 1 week's time in the Nordschleife. Goodbye for now.